Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a travel story that's, well, not really about the destination at all. It's about a journey that started as a total joke and somehow turned into this big lesson on, the joy of just going with the flow.
Okay, so this quote, it just perfectly nails the whole vibe of this trip. It's all about being crazy enough to find something amazing in places that, let's be honest, most people just fly right over. And get this whole adventure kicked off with this one simple postcard of Negri Sembilan. Seriously. It was just sitting in a shop in Johor Bahru back in August 2024, and it sparked this kind of half-joking comment that, well, ended up becoming a real thing. Looks like we have to go to Seremban now. So, that one little joke, that's the perfect jumping-off point for our first section. We're going to look at how this postcard's promise went from just a laugh between friends to an actual, honest-to-goodness travel plan.
What's wild is how this plan just grew. It started out as just a trip to Seremban, right? But then, a few months later, they tacked on a trip to Genting. By the time they left on March 31st, it had literally morphed from this simple, spontaneous idea into a full-blown, multi-stop adventure.
So, as you can imagine, the idea of a holiday in Seremban was met with a little bit of friendly teasing. One friend called it a not-so-subtle mockery. But for the person organizing it, the real reason was so much simpler. It was just the perfect excuse for friends to get together.
And so, in the end, it was this core group, Sorianto, Cecilia, and Tati, who were brave enough to trust the journey. They all piled onto a bus at Golden Mile Tower in Singapore, totally ready for whatever this, let's call it, unconventional trip had in store for them.
All right, so after all that back and forth, the crew finally makes it. They arrive in this town that, based on all their research, had just about enough to keep them busy for like half a day. That's it. So, after 5.5 hours on a bus, they were officially in Seremban. They'd actually made it to this place that, seriously, none of their friends had ever picked for a vacation. The adventure was officially on.
And right away, their first big discovery was a total surprise, and it was all about the food. They walk into this little, unassuming spot called Quinn, and they find a bowl of beef noodles that wasn't just good, it absolutely blew away a super famous favorite from back home. A true hidden gem for sure.
Okay, this basically sums up their lightning-fast tour of the town. First, they grab some of those famous baked buns. Then, and this is so relatable, they get totally shut down by a closed chendol shop. Ugh, we've all been there, right? And after that, they just explored the local street art and the main town square.
And their quick little tour wrapped up with a visit to the local park, which was right next to their hotel. And just like that, their research was spot on. They were pretty much done with Seremban.
But here's the thing. The story is so not over. In fact, this is the real turning point of the whole trip. The part they actually planned was finished. The real spontaneous adventure? That was just about to kick off.
So check this out. The next morning, what starts as a simple breakfast with a friend, Wee, totally spirals. She unexpectedly decides to just join them for the rest of the trip. This leads to a detour to Genting Highlands, where Surianto apparently has some serious beginner's luck at the casino, and then all the way down to Kuala Lumpur.
And this quote just perfectly sums up the hilarious, charming chaos of their time in KL. See, their local guide, Wee, didn't really know the tourist spots or the public transport any better than they did. So instead of guiding them, she ended up becoming a tourist right alongside them.
Their KL adventure continued with this super lively dinner on the famous food street, Jalan Alor. They tried mud creeper snails, but that was followed by this pretty funny encounter with Masong King durian, which our narrator, could not stand. Described it as having a horrible smell. Not a fan, clearly. So, for their last morning in KL, they found themselves at this really quiet market. It was almost empty because of the Hari Raya holiday. But as they walked through it, they finally got why it has this reputation as a hub for Nusantara food. It's home to a huge Indonesian community.
Okay, so this brings us to the real heart of it all. When you peel back all the layers, the detours, the funny stories, what was this trip actually about?
And as the trip was winding down at the airport, there was still time for one last food adventure. They just got to check out and review the famous Uncle Roger's egg fried rice before hopping on the plane home. So, really, what was the real prize here? If you look past all the spontaneous side quests and the places they saw, what did they actually get out of a trip that literally started as a joke? What was the point of it all?
Well, the answer wasn't some t-shirt from a gift shop or a magnet for the fridge.
It was the shared adventure itself. It was the simple, incredible joy of just being together. It was the thrill of all those unexpected discoveries and the pure, simple fun that comes from having absolutely no plan. It was really all about their friendship.
And that really leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? This whole incredible story started with a trip to a supposedly boring town. It really makes you wonder, what overlooked, boring place out there might just be holding your next great adventure?